So here we go. And this is sort of a double dose podcast, 2 at 1.
Yes. Yes, everybody. Welcome. I'll throw this off the top. Hi, everybody. I'm Checkerphil from the Checkerboard Kids, and I am here right now with the members of Questionable Personalities podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just throwing it out there.
There you go. So this is Boris and Alex with Phil. And
Hi.
I haven't. Well, you guys haven't met, so Alex, Phil,
Yeah,
Phil, Alex.
I've been checking out your podcast, and now I know about you. You're also they have you listed as Count Spatula, but
Well,
I know Boris, a longtime director, educator, many things, but I don't know about Alex. So I'm very curious about who is this other character that's in the mix over here. Who is Alex? What does he do? What's up with him? I'm just curious about that.
I'm the Sancho Panza to his Don Quixote.
I know. I see what you're doing there.
He's stealing your lines.
You believe in the dream. I understand. Excellent. Now you guys go around. You're interviewing actors. Of course, Suzanne Muldowney, Underdog.
Yeah, you can't skip Suzanne.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, hold it. Did you get her a thing for Easter?
Yep.
Yeah, I hold it.
She probably told you the same thing she told me. So.
Yeah, hold it. Wait, no. This is the what I like is this. Hold it. I have to share this with you real quick. Which was share screen. Here we go. You heard it. Ta-da. This was her latest artwork that she said. Did she send you this? You know that she loves to draw. I try to encourage her to draw as much as she can. I'm an art teacher, so when she did this, she sent me this picture of Jesus. I was just like, okay, Sue, do your thing. I always try to encourage her to draw more and more.
That's awesome. I like that the cave has a door.
Yeah, the cave has a door, and like they roll away the stone, but the stone is like it looks like a vault door.
Yeah, I've seen some of her drawings, but that's a new one.
Yeah, I love. She would send me some of her old paintings. Like I got one of this old painting of her concept of some sort of. Oh, I think it was some sort of Olympic thing for space. Oh, it was for the moonwalk or something. The anniversary of the moonwalk. That's when she wanted everybody had to eat croissants because it was shaped like the moon. That was her plan.
I've never saw any of her paintings. I've seen a few drawings when she slayed the. Wait, who drew the one when she slays Howard Stern as the dragon? That was you. Okay. That's you.
Yeah. Actually, sometimes she gives me ideas for artwork. She was like, I think everybody should do a scene from the Nativity and put in characters. So what I did was I drew a picture of Underdog going back in time to the Nativity and witnessing the birth of Jesus. Yeah. I wish I could find that drawing. I'm sure she's got it, but yeah, that was a nice one.
How many paintings does she have? I've never seen any of them.
Well, not like painting. It definitely looked painted. It was a photograph of a painting of this Apollo moon landing drawing. So her concept of it, and it was like dancers. Man, I gotta find that thing. I'll have to include that in a side shot of it. But yeah, that.
That's really funny.
All right.
So last time I saw you was when we shot that film with her. That was many years ago.
Yes, the Underdog Jam. Yeah, that was some good stuff. And I tell you, you had me at some really. You had me at my heaviest. I always use this as an example. Hold on, I always show this as an example of how I was rocking. So here, I'll show that. This is me. Like. Yeah. So this is the me that I'm sure you remember.
I remember taking it there. I used to.
Well, you already lost some weight, but last time I saw you. But
at by 2007, I was 296 pounds.
Oh my damn! That's
296 pounds. So.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I remember those last filming sessions right around there. so tired and puffy and bloated. I see some of that footage in the stuff that I see on the Questionable podcast. Like you bring back that old footage, and I was like, oh yeah, oh yeah. I remember looking like that. I remember.
Hey, that's motivation.
How hard it was to walk upstairs. That was the thing.
I can imagine. Well, imagine just putting a 50-pound cement bag in your back, walking around with it all day.
Oh, on the front.
Yeah, anywhere.
well, you know what? Right now, everybody's in quarantine, so everybody runs the risk of the quarantine 15. You know, they say everybody's gaining 15 pounds.
I've been working out twice a day now just because I have nothing else to do.
Then what are you doing? You're doing like this kind of jailhouse push-up sort of thing?
I have a full gym in my basement, so.
See, that's the way to go.
I'm all good.
Yeah,
I've switched to tequila because that's the least amount of calories.
Yeah, for me, I'm just sort of around the house. Actually, I'm an educator, and I've been sitting around there working on school stuff for kids. Like I pretty much do the equivalent. Like in addition to my show Checkerboard Kids, pretty much for school, I do educational videos. Wait, I'll show you what it looks like here if I can. Here is an example. Sorry, I like, as an art teacher, I love to share and show and share. So here is how it looks like.
In art history, we are still talking about surrealists.
Right.
And today in surrealism, we will be talking about Sigmund Freud and the influence he had over surrealism. Now, Sigmund Freud was from a land called Austria.
So
Austria is a landlocked country in southern Europe, bordering like Germany and Czechoslovakia and stuff like that. But he created psychoanalysis. Psychoanalysis.
You can tell I'm just doing this off the top of my head.
Nice preparation.
Analyzing the psychic phenomena and treating emotional disorders that involve treatment sessions, like therapy, when people sit around and talk and they do stuff like free association where.
All right, but you get the point. I'm basically like doing 3 television shows like that for my students, and I go on to the thing, and you could see the demographics, not the like the statistics. Like you could see what the students are watching and how long they watch for. So it shows they watch a little in the beginning, they watch a little in the end. Maybe they pup to see if there's anything important. And I'm like busting my chops doing these full-length videos, 3 of them, pulling all-nighters, doing this thing, and like kids aren't even watching them.
Yeah. Well, you know what? If I was that, what age are you teaching?
I teach high school, and some middle school too, but high school basically. So let's say 13 to 18, kind of like that 5-year span in there.
Yeah, well, I can't blame them. I probably wouldn't be watching anything either if I was 13.
Come on. They got some video game, you got some Animal Crossing to do, right? Got some some TikTok videos to make. I'm sure the kids are all up to that.
Yeah, but that's actually interesting. I'd rather watch your stuff than somebody just standing in front of the camera in a kitchen.
Well, you know what? The future, I feel, right now at this moment in time, it is important for us to smash education as we know it, because now the opportunity is ripe to change education. All the time they're like, oh, we will change education, and then some new person will get elected in, and then they're like, we'll change education, and a new thing will get elected in. We'll do it next time, or the new way of grading, or it's going to be this time, it's going to be this, or this time it's going to be the benchmarks, and this time it's going to be, whatever. They always have some new buzzword it's going to be. The main point is education. Normally, remember what it's like. All right, as an educator, talk.
Alex teaches too.
Right. So chalk and talk. Oh, you are excellent. So you know what's up. All right. So like they kind of do the chalk and talk here. We're in the front. Students are all there in rows. But what they're really doing is this old school thing. They want us to teach kids back then in the days. They were teaching kids how to be factory workers. Right. The boss is in the front. You are the things you do as the person commands you, and that is what they were teaching, but that has been old and outdated for years. And they wouldn't change that mode because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But it's broke, so fix it. But they don't, because another politics, more politics, more politics. They don't want to change the thing. They just want to keep it going and changing and changing and changing it.
Well, it's a bureaucracy.
Exactly. But now is the chance to break that thing, because I'm like, all right, fine. I'm doing these things. I make these videos. The kids, whatever time, they're submitting the work at all sorts of crazy hours of the day. It doesn't matter, because in this future, we could work as an educator. We work comfortably at home, right? We could work at home, right? And this is the way that it should be with a lot of the jobs now.
Yeah, you can do it to a point. I mean, there are limits to that.
Truth. But the main point is, I'm just saying, the old bureaucracy of the chalk and talk and the teaching kids to be factory workers are done. Am I right?
Well, yeah, I would agree with most of that.
I think it might be broken two ways, because that's not working. But then some districts are going to fully self-directed students, which works for some, the curious students, but it doesn't always work for the lazy students or the students that just aren't interested in that subject. I actually think that we should diversify more earlier, like different subjects that should be available to different students, to try to let them figure out what they're interested in so they can go in that direction, and maybe pick a major, in quotes, or a focus earlier on.
Well, what kind of majors are you talking about? Because, there's opportunities. Things were taken away from kids. Stuff like home ec was taken away. Stuff like, shop. The opportunity for electrical work, the opportunity for woodworking, the opportunity for carpentry. These jobs were just like, there are things that everybody needs, but they are taken away. Why are these things not important anymore? I've been to some schools that were doing culinary stuff, and that was pretty impressive. All the students were saying, "Here, try this," and they come up there with these things. So that's kind of nice. Like,
I've been to one. There was a Votech school, and their kitchen, the cafeteria, was all student work. They were bringing, and it was good food. So,
and architecture.
That's what I'm talking about. I think that taking away shop, because my school did it. They took away home ec, and
people don't know how to raise kids. So that was the opportunity to teach people to raise kids, and guys and girls should both have to take it.
Oh yeah, I agree. But also, I feel like there should be other topics that you can explore. Sometimes they do a rocketry class.
Wow. Yeah. There would be robotics classes, things like that.
I teach a robotics class as well.
So what's
so, and the more I try to expose them, I do a little filmmaking in most of my classes.
Nice. Very important.
So whatever I can get them into, so they know, there are so many different fields to occupy out there once they get a job.
Mm-hmm. Well, right now at this moment in time, I don't know, even the word for this time that we are going through right now, this plague, this thing, this, the words for it aren't even out yet, what this is. I guess it'll be named afterwards. But this span of time, new jobs will come about. Like, it was happening even before. Like, if you were to tell me that somebody was going to be some sort of media influencer and that they would be making hot, big boku bucks, I wouldn't have believed it, but there it is. There's a whole bunch of jobs that were developed in the past couple of years that nobody foresaw at all. But now, because of this thing that's happening now, I think new jobs and new opportunities and new things will be created that we can get in on, or that people that hear it coming will be able to get in on. And hopefully that other people will not exploit, because, that's what they do. Just not trying to say anything.
Well, that happens all the time.
You know who they are.
I think they definitely.
Well, okay.
I think they definitely need remote support staff for big media shows. Like, I watched Saturday Night Live last night, and
oh yeah, I saw that too.
It went pretty well, but there's still a lot of things that they could they could fix.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, that show needs to become funny.
Oh, ouch! That burns, right? No, there were some moments. You know what? I'm a big proponent of the news, but that's because anybody commenting on the news cycle, that's funny to me. You know, because it needs to be looked at.
Today's media is hilarious.
Uh-huh.
It's like The Onion became mainstream news.
Exactly. Sometimes I have to fact check it. It's like, is this real, or is this The Onion, or is this what am I seeing here?
We remember. I mean, I don't know. We're about the same age. You remember when that new Onion would come out in the city, and you would grab and like now that's like CNN.
Yeah, it's like just, everything now.
It's just sad. You don't even know what the hell's going on.
Alas, let's see.
Hey, but you brought up the pandemic, and you just got over it. You actually.
Yes. It was really funny too, because there was a situation where you know when you have that one student that's sick in the room, and you're like just words of COVID, and of course all the kids were joking about like, oh, this person's got COVID, or somebody coughs, or this person's got COVID, that person's got COVID. But there was this one kid in the room that was like really kind of always sick, and I was like, dude, you should really stay home. And he was just like, I can't. My dad keeps on sending me out because, he said you can't stay home. And then I'm just like, and then I started noticing the kid next to him started getting sick. And I was like, dude, you better stay home. And I remember the last day, Friday the 13th. I remember that.
Nice.
It's Friday the 13th. And I was just like, dude, don't come to school. Like, by then, I think the idea was they were already trying to figure out if they were going to have school or not. I was like, stay home. And then on that Saturday the 14th, I started noticing I'm becoming sick. Like, with that feeling that you feel like you're becoming sick. And then I went through my sickness, and it was like, I didn't go to school that Monday because they didn't have students, but they still had teachers come in. And I got I went on video with my doctor, and they were just like, oh, okay, you seem to have sickness. It's okay. And so here we write you a note, and that's all good. And then that's all cool. So then I was getting over that sickness. And then right at the end of the sickness, I'm like, I'm great. I feel so much healthier. Everything's good. And then I was drinking my tea. And then I said, there's something wrong with my tea. And maybe I got a bad bag, because this one tastes like nothing. I mean, I love this tea. It's my most flavorful tea. And I was like, there's something wrong with that. And I was upset. I was just like, wait a second. Now I didn't know about them talking about loss of sense of smell and taste, because what I used to be obsessed with was, you remember the band In Excess and the lead singer Michael Hutchence?
Yeah, the guy who hung himself, sort of.
Yeah, he did. His sort of thing. But a lot of that mental illness that was going on with there had to do with a brain injury that he got in a fight with a pedicab driver, and he hurt his brain. He had suffered a traumatic brain injury, and he lost his sense of taste and smell permanently. Wow. Because he didn't go directly to the doctor. And I was just like, from him doing that, he lost, because imagine you're rich, you have money because you're a rock star, but then you can't smell anything, you can't taste anything, you can't, food doesn't, you can have the most expensive food and you can't taste it. So he became very depressed about that. And ultimately, I think it led to suicide. So me thinking about that, I was like, wait a second. So I cut open an onion, talking about the onion, and I smelled it, and I couldn't smell anything. Air was going into my nostrils, and I couldn't smell it. And I was like, oh, snap. And then I opened up a thing of vinegar, couldn't smell that. I was like, what? I had a thing of essential oils. I had some peppermint, and I couldn't smell that either. And I was just like, I've lost my sense of taste and smell. That's it. I'm going to commit suicide like Michael Hutchence. And luckily for me, I talked to my doctor, and I said, Doc, you got to help me. I'm quarantined in this house with all this stuff. I have all this great food, and I can't taste it. I'm going to kill myself. And he was just like, dude, relax. This is a thing. You have COVID. I was like, nah, I have COVID. Seriously? Because I just thought I had a cold before. I kept on telling everybody, I have a cold, I don't have COVID, But then I really legit had COVID. I didn't have the fever, but I did have body aches. I did have chills. I had that kind of stuff going on there. But then all of a sudden, this new thing of taste and smell started becoming a big proponent of it, saying it's attacking some part of your brain that affects your taste and smell. So whatever the situation. So then the doctor, I was like, Doc, okay, so I gotta come. I'm gonna come in and get a test, right? And he's like, no, don't come here. And I'm like, okay. He's like, okay, I'll just write you a note and you just stay away from everybody. Stay home. Don't make anybody sick. And I was like, I can do that. So basically, in the middle of all that, I'm still making these videos for students. And I talk about like catching COVID and the whole nine in my videos. Of course, none of the kids noticed it. The kids didn't see it. But at least
they don't care.
Opportunity. Exactly. They don't care. And it's so funny because one of my classes, I'm teaching like compassion. It's a kind of an etiquette class. We're teaching compassion. We're teaching meditation. We're teaching all that kind of stuff. It's the art of responsibility. And I teach that. And some of the kids are like, why I got to learn this for? And I'm like, whatever, man. It's going to make you a better person. I don't care about being a better person. It is what it is. You know what? For every one kid that's saying that, I'm sure there are some kids that really want, this kind of education, at least learning about etiquette and learning about being a better person, being more compassionate, being more empathic, those kind of things, being more mindful. I'm presenting it to them. You know what? I lay this toolkit at their feet, and whether they're going to do it or not, it's on them. If they want that credit or not.
Yeah. Well, there used to be one old school method that used to work, and no one uses it anymore.
What?
A belt.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Funny that you should, once upon a time, early in my educational formation when I was getting my master's, I was trying to think of my doctorate. What was I going to do? What was I going to do for my doctorate? I was thinking, because when I was younger, I had gotten involved with a religious cult. So I had gotten involved with a religious cult, and I didn't realize that I'd gotten involved in it, and I was deep in it real quick, because, the fellowship of the people, they were really nice. It's a situation called love bombing, which is very popular in cults, and I didn't realize it until my ex-girlfriend and my friends, my one friend who's lost a cousin to this religious group, he was very adamant on me getting out of there, and they went out of their way and they got a deprogrammer to contact me, and I remember speaking to that deprogrammer, and they just broke it down, like why this group was a cult, and they're like, they're cutting you off from all your friends, they're doing all these things, and I was like, yeah, they are, and they have enigmatic leaders, and they're kind of manipulating you into giving them all your money, and they want your social security card number, they want you to tithe all this dough, and I was just like, yeah, they do that, and then you go through this thing in your head, you're like, oh snap, they were right, I've been, got involved with this thing, and then I learned I'm so stupid, I got hoodwinked by this group, and then I learned that what the person told me is that a lot of people that are really kind of smart get pulled into cult situations like that because they are, they're always thinking, they're always seeking, they're looking for something, and they get pulled into this. They get pulled into these things. And so I realized that I was just looking for something. I was looking for something, and this happened to be the thing at the time. So still smarting from that. I've had a lot of time to work that out and go through some therapy about that. And by doing that, I was thinking for my dissertation, for my doctorate, I wanted to think about how brainwashing could be used for good things, like education and making kids smarter that don't want to do work, those lazy kids we were talking about, and how if we brainwash them into believing video games and stuff like that, that'll make them an education sort of thing, so that they will want to do school stuff and be smarter instead of being dumb and wasting away their lives. And I was like, this is going to be my dissertation. This is the thing that I'm going to do. And I should do all the research for that. And when I started getting it all together, I was like, and what if the government suddenly said, hey, we really like your research. We want to expand this to all the educational situations in New York, not even New York and beyond, in the whole world. And I was like, oh, yeah, because we want to use brainwashing for good, for the good. I was like, maybe I don't want to do that, because maybe it could be a bad thing for the future. Maybe free will is okay. Maybe free will is an all right idea.
Who'd have thought that? Now, which cult was that? I remember you telling me that story years ago.
Yeah, all right. Well, ain't no shame in my game. I don't know if they're still around. The International Churches of Christ. I was involved with those guys a hot minute, and I don't want anybody at me and being all like, that church wasn't a cult, bro. Look it up. Put the name of the church and put cult next to it, and then do a little search on that and tell me what you turn up. Just saying. Don't try to at me and be all like, it wasn't a cult. Dude, it was a cult. Just saying.
At least it was international.
Yeah, they were international, man. They had all the continents held down.
Now, you're doing Checkerboard Kids for, what, 20-some years now?
Well, let's see, 1995, I think by then we started really rolling legit on that show. So 1995 to now. Whoa, what is that, like 25 years?
25 years, yeah.
Holy smokes. Yeah, September it'll be 25 years. Holy smokes. Yeah. And actually, I was just talking to my old co-host Cinnamon the other day, and me and the Masked Mutant really don't roll like that anymore, but
no,
it is what it is, man. You know, we had a good run.
Yeah, well, things happen, I guess.
Yeah, you know, people grow apart.
Sometimes. No, how's Cinnamon?
It's so funny. Cinnamon Studio, actually, me and Cinnamon were married for a bunch of years.
I know.
Yeah. Actually, we were married on the season
on the show.
The TV show.
Richard's show, right?
Yeah. Oddville on MTV. That was a good one.
And Suzanne sang the song for you guys.
Yeah, she sang "We'd Only Just Begun."
That's right. I remember seeing that. Yeah.
Yeah. That was
wow.
I tell you, I love that song till this day for sure. So it's funny.
And she's doing okay.
Cinnamon, yeah. The lovely Cinnamon, still lovely, still doing the thing. So she's nice.
So you're just hosting that show alone now? Is that what it is?
Yeah, hosting it solo. It's okay. It's a hard burden to take, but I can shoulder it. No. It's all good. Well, look at it now. Now I'm doing it alone anyway because of this.
Yeah, well, everything is remote.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's funny because luckily for me, like right before all these quarantine stuff went down, leap year, Suzanne Muldowney came down, and we filmed a couple of episodes. So now I have to do all the editing. She just called me today to remind me. It's so funny because like you see her on your podcast, and you see her on my show, and it's just like everybody's just like, oh, that's so cool that you get to like interact with Suzanne like this. I'm like, but yeah, I interact with Suzanne every day. 6 times a day.
Well, she'll keep calling like 20 times a day.
Like today, it's Easter, so she called and she was watching the Brady Bunch marathon, and it's like I'm interviewing her, but just for me. I'm just like, hey Suzanne, do you have any favorite member of the Brady Bunch? And she's like, nope, don't. I said, do you have a favorite episode? She goes, I believe it was in the first season. There was an episode where the boys were practicing baseball, and the girls were making some sort of meal, and they decided they were kind of fighting. The parents were fighting to see who had a harder job, and the mother ended up teaching the boys about playing baseball, and the father was helping Marcia prepare the meal. And I said, and hilarity ensued? And she's like, yeah. So, yeah.
There's never a short answer.
Yeah, so I have a show with Suzanne every day of my life.
Well, how did you meet her?
Oh man. Yeah, it's through Beyond Vaudeville. What happens is early in the days of Beyond Vaudeville, they used to do I used to watch them on public access cable, which the public access cable that my show is on now. Beyond Vaudeville was always inspiring to me, and Suzanne was always a guest performer. And they used to do once a year. They would have a live show at a comedy club, Caroline's. Right, I remember. And okay. And sorry, I gotta take that off the screen. Okay, so what happens is. So it would be at Caroline's, and there would always be some guest host, and I wanted to meet Suzanne. I had drawn these pictures of all the Beyond Vaudeville staff. I drew like Joey the Monkey, and I drew David fighting with Joey the Monkey, and I drew Frank Hope, and I drew a picture of Suzanne. And I remember since they would film down the block from where I was. And I remember coming down to the show once, I think it was for a Halloween episode, and I brought these drawings, and I got to show them live on the air, and they were saying, hey, well, we're going to do this live thing, and Suzanne's going to be there. Why don't you come and meet her? And I was like, yeah, definitely, I'm doing that. So I got to meet Suzanne, and she really, really liked the drawings, and she was saying that she's going to do this thing on she's going to be at Coney Island for the Mermaid Parade. And I was like, I don't know about that. But all right, I'll go. So I went to the Mermaid Parade, and Frank Hope, Rich, was there escorting Suzanne around. And at the end of the parade, Rich was like, hey, why don't you bring Suzanne next year? And I was just like, okay, that'll be great. I'll do it.
He got stuck with her.
4 years of doing it, okay? And you know what? I don't mind. You've been with us on that thing. And hilarity ensues. Stuff like the putting on of her sunscreen and all that stuff. It's just part of the thing. It's part of the jovialty of Coney Island and her getting distressed at inappropriately dressed mermaids, and we got to see that parade over 25 years evolve. And you know what? Suzanne won a couple of awards on that thing. She won a couple of times. And I think ultimately right before before she stopped doing it, which was last year, there was a year that her bus didn't match up and she couldn't make it. She was crestfallen because it would have been her 25th, her diamond anniversary of doing the Mermaid Parade. She didn't get.
So why did you stop going? She decided to stop.
Well, she said, well, for one thing, I think she got tired of it, but also she was just like, the immodestly dressed people was just too much for her. But I was like, they separated them. They would have the immodestly dressed people in one thing, and then they have the front of the parade people where she would be. But still, nope, she wasn't having any of it. I guess the concept would be like back in the days where smoking was allowed in an airplane. So there would be a smoking section and a non-smoking section. But in an airplane, all the air is circulated. So guess what? Everybody's in the smoking section. So she's like, the immodesty was everywhere. I don't know. It's like coronavirus. It's everywhere. It doesn't matter if they're showing signs or if they're asymptomatic. It doesn't matter. Everybody's got it. So that would be the equivalent of it. But yeah, so that's how I met her.
Do you get the show with Rich a couple of years back?
Did I get? Oh yes. Last time I came out, they were doing a reunion show
for Beyond Vaudeville.
Yeah, for Beyond Vaudeville, and performing in Philadelphia. And when I heard that they were doing that, man, I had to go. Like I made like a special trip to go out there, be there with Suzanne and Rich and the rest of the crew. I mean, just to see, David back doing the thing, and they have the footage on the Beyond Vaudeville.
I see their website. No, is Rich still in LA? Or?
Yeah. He runs the Beyond Vaudeville channel. He runs the Beyond Vaudeville group on Facebook. He runs it on YouTube. He's got stuff going on, and he's got all the old footage, so he's putting it up. I love it.
Yeah, so it's great. Last time I saw him, we were in Kimmel. That's the last time I saw him. So that was a long time ago too.
Yeah. That was when Suzanne performed there. Yes. Yeah. She was. Jimmy Kimmel broke her heart. I remember them. I think even on the Stern Show, they were asking Kimmel, like, come on, are you gonna have Suzanne another shot or something like that? She said the show has changed over the years, so I don't know if I want to go on. But I think it's a case of not being a part of a club that you're not, like, if they don't want me, then darn it, I don't want to be on it. I don't think she would say it like that, but I'm saying that like that, so whatever.
She did her figure jogging.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah. Nowadays when we do shows and stuff, she just wants to talk. She wants to talk about it.
She's getting older, so.
Yeah. but you know what? She's got a lot to talk about. So that's why I always used to, like, in opportunities when I get to talk to Shuli or any of them, I would say, yo, you should really seriously, think about like giving Sue a show. Like if they gave people like Riley a show, like he expound all his conspiracy theories and about aliens and things like that. God rest his soul. And
he died, right?
Yeah, he did die. And what happens is, his show was doing good, it was a thing. So I think they tried with Suzanne, to do like a show where, and they would funnel in callers that would talk to her, and they know, don't act like a jackass, be okay. No, like going to all like blah blah blah, because dude, you're on Sirius Network. Everybody knows what you're there for. So you don't have to like do the thing, just sit there and just enjoy this. Let Suzanne be as Suzanne-y as she's gonna be. And that's what, I always recommend that. I think that would be the best for her. Also, I always try to encourage her. I was talking to a writer person that she should really team up with, and she should write like memoirs or something like that. And you know what? And then on the low, honestly, between me and you, I think that Stern should back the thing and like make the money for there to be like a documentary, not a documentary, to make a TV movie about Suzanne and about like her life, her childhood, and things like that. And I say, get that woman that does the voice, that woman that does that spot on Suzanne voice. Oh,
I see. I haven't listened to the Stern in years, so I don't know. Do you have somebody who does the imitation?
Yeah, there's a woman that does a really good Suzanne imitation, and I think like, she's kind of young, I guess, so she could play Suzanne and just do a thing. Do it, but do it serious, because that's how Suzanne would do it. Like, Suzanne was always about serious, so do a serious TV movie about her and her childhood, because you've seen the traumas that she endured in school, the stuff with her family. It's like another brick in the wall. It's like all these different things that led to Suzanne being where her only refuge was dance and Underdog. And then when they took Underdog away from her, then she started going for Vlad the Impaler. Like, we could go through these things. We could see what created this evolution of this person. And
it would be the most lifetimiest of Lifetime movies.
Yes. And I say, go for it. Like, camp it up. And I tell you, I bet it would get awards.
John Stamos and Judith Light.
Yeah. And then
isn't she in all the Lifetime movies?
Yeah, John Stamos?
No, Judith Light.
Yeah, get her in there. Get her. I say get all the Lifetime movie people in there and have them like produce it. Like, Stern will throw the money for it on the low, and then do this thing, but like take it serious. And if they take it serious, I bet it would get like TV awards. I bet because it's so, the subject, Suzanne, is so compelling. But of course, there's a whole bunch of different things. You got to get the rights to the Underdog stuff, and then how are you going to reference Stern himself in this thing? Are you gonna reenact those scenes too? That'd be funny to have somebody playing him.
It might have to be a miniseries or a.
Oh, yes, Netflix. That would be awesome. Say it again.
Game of Dog instead of Game of Thrones.
Yes, Game of Dogs.
But
yes.
The funny thing with her is that she took the most ridiculous character you can find, try to make it serious.
Well, that's what it's about. You know what? It all goes back to her parents. Her parents were saying, no, don't do that. Because even, there was times that even it was definitely discussed on the thing, that even when she was they gave her a creative writing assignment, her parents took the assignment and tore it up because it wasn't based on reality.
But also, I tried, they passed away since, but when we were shooting the film, I did email with her mother, but they didn't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see how much, there's no way to know now, but how much of it was actually true and how much is just her version of things.
Yes, you know what they say, there's three sides to every story, your side, my side, and the cold, hard truth.
Because with her disability or whatever, whatever autism, whatever spectrum that she's on, whatever. Back then, no one knew anything about it, so I'm sure that's part of it. The second is that's how she sees it. Who knows? Maybe that didn't, do any of that.
Imagine her parents are like this hip and swinging like couple, and they're like, "Oh, there's our daughter that's always getting upset." But
yeah, I mean, who knows what the reality was?
Over the years of just hearing her side of it and hearing because she is one for pinpoint accuracy when it comes to her talking about certain things and remembering how a day was. Seriously, she could tell you off the top. I remember her telling me off the top when my birthday was, and I told her when my birthday was, and she said, "You were born on a Thursday," because that's the way.
It's like Rain Man.
Yeah, exactly. So her ability to pinpoint accuracy, certain things, and her descriptions that she would say about stuff about her parents and things like that, and just the clarity with which she spoke, I would be like, this is serious. This is real. The stuff that she's really talking about is the real situations. I don't know. She convinced me, and I'm a believer, but that's
no, I mean, I don't.
I drank the Suzanne Kool-Aid years ago, so yeah.
Well, you joined another cult.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, the cult of Underdog, which was much funner, much more interesting.
She didn't ask for your social security.
Yeah, she didn't ask for any of that, but I gladly gave my time, and it's been a wild ride. It's been met a lot of cool people along the way. Got to do a whole bunch of stuff, so it's been good, man. I love it.
Yeah. Well,
and like I was saying, when I was sick, I remember being sick in bed with this COVID thing, and I remember her calling me, and I picked up the phone because I always pick up the phone for her, to say what's up. Sometimes, but yeah, so I picked up the phone, and she says, "I pray for you many times throughout the day in Latin," and I said, "Would you do it now?" And she did in Latin. So she prayed.
Maybe that's where we get over it.
Yeah, you know what? You don't know what's the thing that does the thing, but whatever it is, I'm grateful. I'm always grateful to her. So
it'd be funny if that was you have to call her and she prayed.
If it's the thing that does it, I'm all for it.
Well, she has that letter from the Pope. Did you ever see that?
No, she got a letter from the Pope. Which Pope?
Well, I think it was John II.
John Paul II? Oh,
but it's I don't think she knows it's a form letter. Like anyone that writes the Vatican gets the same form letter. But she has it framed, and she's very proud of it.
Right on. Let her have that.
Oh, I'm not going to crush her dream and tell her it's a form letter that's printed to everyone.
You know what? That's another thing I love about Suzanne. She has all these different things in her house, and the thing that I really like she has various different things like Jesus, Underdog, and all that stuff. And then there's this statue of Caesar. I was like, yo, what's up with that? And I'm like, she's just like, yes, sometimes I have a Roman banquet at my home on certain holidays.
It's her version of it. It's completely ridiculous.
Yes. No. Everything is screen accurate. She wears her toga and she lays out all these different foods that were only available in Roman times. Things like olives and other stuff like that. She has all those special, things.
Like Arby's roast beef sandwich.
Well, that's all day, every day. Man, I hope Arby's doesn't go out of business. I mean, speaking as a person that doesn't eat meat, but let a sister live, man. Let her have what she needs to have to live. That's all I'm saying. I'm sorry, man. You keep cutting out. I gotta hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe I'll get closer to the phone. I said usually I'll get her a dozen of them when I'm driving by. She freezes them.
Oh, yeah. See, that's good. That's good. So she'll have a never-ending supply. It's very important to have a deep pantry, and for her, a deep pantry of Arby's roast beef sandwiches.
But she lives, hours away from me, so I don't get to see her.
All right, so she must be really happy though when she sees it. She's like, Boris, I'm so happy to see you. Give me those sandwiches.
Yeah, well, Alex and his wife dropped once. But the first episode we did, you guys brought her a bunch of Arby's sandwiches.
Yeah. My wife insisted. She loves Suzanne. She feels the same way. She needs what she can get.
Yeah, you know what? I really love there's like, you know, all people really hear about is the people that grate on Suzanne's nerves, that upset her, but you don't realize that there is a whole like army of people that enable Suzanne. That basically, like, of which you guys are part of this, you know, we're part of like all these different people, and you will run into people like in each city. There's people, like there's one city where David is, like David Check. He handles her for the New Jersey parades and stuff like that. And then there's Baltimore, where there's Violet Lavoie, and then she's like the person that holds her down in Baltimore. And then there's Philadelphia, and there's this network of people that we all know each other, and it's kind of like we could talk and like make sure Suzanne's okay. You know what I mean?
We envy her rich inner life.
Yeah, you know, yeah. And but I like it to keep going as long as it can go. And she might think like, you know, I tell her the stuff that I put it up currently on my blog, like a lot of the stuff that she writes and all her things, like just to archive it, just to have it all out there. So God forbid when she passes, but inevitably we all pass, that stuff will be up forever. And I'm sure
mention your blogs if somebody's watching this.
Oh yeah, it's Checkerphil's Top Secret blog, and I have a lot of Suzanne stuff there, but I hope to just get a website for all Suzanne and just put all the Suzanne stuff up on one spot. I used to have one in the early days called Muldowneyville, and you could still look
remember
it up.
that.
Yeah, Muldowneyville is still up there. Like, I don't have access to the codes anymore, but it's up there forever. All this old Suzanne stuff is up there forever. And that's what I want. I want her to know that, you know, people might find it silly and people might, you know, poo-poo her now. Like, you know, there's people that are in her life that are always like still shaming her, like, Suzanne, you're going too far and all that stuff. Come on, don't hate the player, hate the game. You know, she is living her best life while you are sitting there, like, living in this box with blinders on, doing what you need to do every day, while Suzanne is living. She is, like, YOLO, like, you know, she's the person, like, she's living her dream right now. She's doing her thing. She only wishes she could do more. Like, she has to, like, you know, she works and stuff like that, but she's, like, you know, she's willing to do what she got. She would sooner just be doing this thing 24/7. And I'm sure the whole parade thing, because she still had parades planned and she was planning to go do them, and she had to cancel a whole bunch of, like, people would call and say, dude, you got to talk to Suzanne and tell her, don't do this. Don't go out to this parade. And
but they probably canceled the parades anyway.
Yeah, they canceled the parade. So luckily that kept the situation. But I was able to talk to Sue and say, yo, this is kind of a dangerous situation. For God's sake, don't do that. And I don't know, partially she was listening to me, but partially it got canceled too. So
she does what she's going to do. There's no talking to her.
Yeah, Sue's gonna do what Sue's gonna do, and it's the best. I love her exactly as she is. And you know what I always think, you know, one of the things I always say, speaking of loving a person exactly for who they are, I always think of, like, Mr. Rogers. Like, you know, like Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers did all these good things, did all this stuff. And then I believe that years and years and years later, like, one day, Mr. Rogers will be like a religion. And, like, 'cause he did all this music, he wrote all these books, he did all these things, he has all these shows, and, like, people in the future, and not now, like millennium from now, will look at Mr. Rogers' teachings and stuff like that, and that'll be the new religions. You know what I mean? I mean, of course, Mr. Rogers would be completely against that, but things get away from people. Ask Jesus. I'm sure, like, he had, like, a plan, like, all right, I'm trying to do this political thing for my people, and then all of a sudden everybody all over the world are up to things, and it's like, it's this Jesus, it's this blonde hair, blue-eyed Jesus, it's this black Jesus, it's this, yeah, gotcha.
I think he was just working on some IKEA cabinets.
Well, let's see if he can make those things happen. All right, but the main point is, aside of the Mr. Rogers thing, I was thinking, like, when the future, like, all this Suzanne stuff will one day resurface, and people will be like, many, many years after you, I, and she had all passed from this mortal plane. Like, people will look back on this and go, this woman was a genius. Like, think of it like this. Like, Van Gogh only sold like one painting. He got about $70 for it. While after his death, he got one painting, $70, and his brother was an art dealer.
Yeah, I was going to say he got that from his brother.
His brother was an art dealer. He still couldn't sell painting because he was before his time. He was way before his time. So that now all his paintings are worth millions and billions of dollars. Now his story has been portrayed so many times by so many actors. Like, who knows? Like, in the future, somebody will like think like, Suzanne, she was an artistic dancing genius. The camel spins, the various different dances that she would do, the spotlight spacewalk. All these things are lauded. There will be museums of Suzanne everywhere, and the old footage will be there. Hey, my life as an underdog will be there in that thing being played on a loop. So for people to see, I'm sure episodes of my show will be there. The Questionable Personalities podcast will be on there in loops in this museum, and whatever version of that, people will be able to check it out and be like, this woman, people will be writing their equivalent of a dissertation on Suzanne and her the things that she gave to society and to the world.
There is but one God and Underdog, and Suzanne is his prophet.
Wouldn't that be friggin' weird? Wouldn't that be the strangest thing in the future if something like that happened? I personally believe my concept of a higher power and things like that believes in different quantum realities and quantum realms all happening simultaneously. And I would really like that, like kind of like a cloud atlas, like suddenly like this person that did all these things would be like the person like, that gets to be like the future version of like religious person. That would be crazy. That would be the best.
That will be the lighter timeline.
Yes, that would be like, like The Good Place or stuff like that. That kind of stuff, like that reality.
And everybody's doing figure jogging. That's the only workout you can do.
Jogging, they're doing things that people would be like, with the signs of Suzanne, or like, doing the sign of Suzanne, or having like little medallions with her picture in it. That would be the best. whole religious sects based on it. Hey,
I wonder if she would like that.
That would mean if she got to be the religious deity, we would get to be like her prophets.
That would be a completely different painting of the Last Supper.
Yeah. Oh, that would be so awesome.
Just roast beef sandwich.
Oh, yes. Oh, God.
Phil, you're not getting anything.
I'm not. Don't worry. As a vegan, I always bring my own lunch wherever I go. It's all good. I'm with it. But man. So you know what? This, like, even though some people think, oh, this is the end of the world, this is like all this stuff, and this is the worst, this is Black Mirror, this is the worst case scenario timeline. But look at us right now, sitting there talking about all these different possible realities and possible timelines. It's okay. You know what? I'm not scared or upset about any of these things, and it's truth. I could die tomorrow. Hey, play this footage after I die and be like, oh, like, he said.
Well, you have it already, so you're probably immune at this point.
Yeah, but anything could happen. I'm hearing about people getting reinfected and all these things.
That's right, yeah.
Or cats catching it, so you better be careful. They're talking about tigers getting it and all cats possibly. I don't want them to start, like, the president gets wind of that. He's going to start, like, trying to find ways to kill all the cats. That'd be the worst. Like,
Suzanne will be really upset.
Oh, yeah. You better understand that she's going to come out there and try to protect some cats. She will not be having that.
No, that's not happening.
Cat lady, as Catwoman. Yeah, we filmed some footage of it for the anniversary of Catwoman.
Did you?
Yeah. For I think it's either the 80th anniversary of Catwoman. Yeah, or 80th or 60th. I'll have to take a look at the footage. But yeah, it's the anniversary of Catwoman, ladies and gentlemen. And Suzanne is dressed in her Catwomanly outfit, Catwomanly best. And she actually went through the different Catwomen and said who her favorite Catwoman was and who her favorite, one that was perfect, and the one that she thinks was.
Did she like Eartha Kitt or no?
I mentioned Eartha Kitt. She thought she was okay. I think she was a Julie Newmar fan.
Oh, really?
But the one that she did not like the most was Halle Berry because she dressed too immodestly.
Oh, well.
So you saw that one coming.
Wasn't the acting.
And also, her movie sucked. Oh, all right. I didn't make a movie, so I have no right to judge that. But hey, I like a good comic book movie, and you know what? DC's still struggling to make a good movie. I mean, seriously. Am I saying? Stop me if I'm saying the truth. Aquaman was pretty good.
I don't watch any of them, so.
The same.
Yeah,
Hey,
I don't.
Mars,
I don't get it.
We should show Suzanne Tiger King and get a reaction video.
Oh, that would be funny. I haven't seen that. I've seen a couple of clips, but from what I hear and what people tell me, it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, people are saying he might be the next president of the United States. It could possibly happen. Yeah.
I would just vote for a tiger.
Yeah, if that's his running mate, I'm sure that could happen.
That would be really funny.
Come on, it isn't too far from idiocracy. Right?
No, who knew that Mike Judge was a prophet?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's the next religion.
Yeah, if anything, Mike Judge will be the next Jesus.
Yes. Hey, all hail his prophet Beavis and Butthead. Yes.
Yeah, well, I would.
That is the future.
Now, on your show, besides Suzanne,
they knew about the teepee for the bunghole. They knew about that. That
well,
teepee. Yeah, exactly. they knew that toilet paper would be very important in the future.
There you go. See, Beavis and Butthead and Mike Judge.
Not judging them, but
no, not at all. I love Beavis and Butthead.
Now you were saying something about Suzanne?
No, I was saying that your show. I mean, you have Suzanne on, but it's mostly show that features music artists, ska music, or
a lot of ska music when I can get it. Because ska isn't as frequent as it used to be, So I get some other bands in there, friends, people I like, and people that I try to get music in there that's usually not popular or not, part of the mainstream. So, swimming in the mainstream is such a lame dream. But you know what? Just getting music out there that for people to check out. And
so one lady on your show, and I'm so bad with names, so half the time I forget my own, but she has this like comic kind of funny, dirty lyrics, and I really liked it. But
you're talking
really
about
dirty.
Jessica Delfino.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. I saw her. She was funny. I saw that. It was hilarious.
Yeah, that was many years ago. She's went on. She had a baby, had kids,
okay.
And she, I think, was doing a lot of comedy shows and stuff like that. I'm sure if you look up the name Jessica Delfino and comedy, you will find her still doing her thing. Probably still doing a couple of dirty songs in there too. I'm sure.
Well, it seemed like a stand-up routine when I saw it on your show. It was kind of yeah. So I can see why she would do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so she does the stand-up stuff, but I think she moved into like leading shows because remember actually those episodes were many years ago. So I'm sure she's branched out since then, doing her thing.
Well, also with Beyond Vaudeville, a lot of those acts ended up on Stern. So people thought that Stern discovered them. No, he was probably just watching.
Or like Fruity Nut Cake and stuff like that. Like, that all came from Beyond Vaudeville,
Yeah, so it was probably, I don't know, somebody was watching that show and just taking guests from Rich.
Yeah, it's all good. You know what? Take it where you can get it. And it all moves back. So people that want to see where the real action's coming will find the archive Beyond Vaudeville stuff and see those old episodes now on the YouTube and also seeing them on online. It's just like, it's really great. Like the people, like, I think they had William Gaines from Mad Magazine and like all these people, like all these different actors, and it's real. Like the equivalent of, like, they used to have all these tchotchkes all over the place, all these tchotchkes, so people that were like tchotchkes, you know what I mean? All these different people, Del Rubio triplets, or all these different things, So it's just something to go back there. And
but that's such a great show, but it was local. So unless you had the Manhattan access, you didn't see it.
Yeah, well, that's why
now you can see
the whole world could have it. Yes.
But there was one show when that show went to MTV. There was one show when Suzanne was on and Fergie was on it, and it was the funniest.
I was there for that episode. I was there behind the scenes for that episode. She was as Vlad the Impaler, and Fergie was in a band called
It was a girl band.
Orchid. Yeah, Wild Orchid was her band, And I remember meeting her. She was really friendly and nice. I took pictures with them, and I was just like, yeah, I didn't know in the future that she would end up teaming up with Black Eyed Peas and becoming as big as she is now. So that's crazy. But yeah, so Suzanne and Fergie, that's something. Oh, I think Fergie might have upset her. But it's not easy to upset Suzanne. Man.
I always like when she's on the show with, that show, if people can go look that up, or when she did Kimmel, she was right before David Alan Grier. And I think they were sitting next to each other, and I don't think he knew that this was serious.
Oh,
he thought it was a joke, like Andy Kaufman kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
And if anyone could look that up, I don't know if you can find that episode.
Oh, God, I don't think that footage is out there. They should really put that up.
I have it because Rich sent me. I have a DVD of that somewhere.
Oh, dude, definitely. Well,
I should find it. Yeah,
he should put it up.
Yeah,
but
it was up for a long time, but then I think network took it down.
See.
But I have the footage. It'd be funny to get her to comment on it. Maybe I can do it that way.
On the low, you can put it up on Vimeo.
Well, that's true.
They're slow to like people say, hey, you put that thing up on Vimeo, you got to take that down. Like I'll love it with you. All the times that I did that they used the footage from my show on the Stern Show. Like I would do a react video to it, listening to it and react to it. And if I put it up on my YouTube channel, Sirius XM would make me take it down. I'm like, but
they used your show.
My show. But they weren't trying to hear me, though, because you were still using Howard Stern's voice. But then on the low, I just went over there and I put it up on Vimeo, and nobody noticed. It's okay.
Well, the funny part is, if I find that clip, I'll put it up, because in the middle of her talking to Kimmel, David Alan Grier realized that she was serious, and his face completely changed from like laughing to like this deadpan.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Put that up. Put it up on Vimeo, man. Send me a link. I gotta see this thing. That'd be awesome. Yeah,
so if I remember correctly, when she was on the MTV show, similar thing happened. I don't think those girls had a clue what they were about to see.
They thought she was kidding. No, she ain't no joke. She keeps it real. Suzanne keeps it 100 for sure.
Well, she's genuine.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I love about her the best. She is 100% who she says she is. She ain't faking it. She's not faking the funk. She is all in, literally all in.
So did you have any other acts on your show that kind of went places, or?
Oh, let me think.
It's 25 years. It's got to be somebody.
25 years, man. No, but I'll tell you a real funny thing that I think I mentioned this in an article that I was interviewed once. I remember in the early years of the show, people used to send us things. And I got a drawing. I got several drawings from a young actress girl named Paz de la Huerta. And her and her sister used to be big fans of the show. And we met with the older I'm so bad at the name. De la Huerta of the song, And I remember Cinnamon calling me because when we were doing the MTV show for Beyond Vaudeville, for the wedding episode, we filmed it a while, and then we put out invitations to people so they could see it when it hit MTV. So Cinnamon calls me from a hair salon, and she goes, "You gotta see this," and she rips this thing out of the book. And there's a picture of Paz de la Huerta in I think it was W magazine with her and her mother, and she's putting on her lipstick in the mirror, and on the mirror there is the drawing of me and Cinnamon in her mirror. So I was just like, what? and it reminds me that she would send drawings of us, and she's an artist.
Yeah,
Little Huerta is an artist in Paris, doing lots of paintings and stuff like this. Great stuff too. And she did a drawing of me, the Masked Mutant, and she didn't draw one of Cinnamon, but she drew one of me. And I remember it was me. I was bare-chested. I had rippling abs and a name belt buckle that said ESQ on it, Esquire, and I think it was jumping over a building or something like that. And I had yeah. God,
you should do a reunion show.
I wish, you know what? I wish. I don't even know if she even remembers me, man. I even mentioned that in the article. I was just like, man, I wish she remembered me. That would be so awesome. She remembers our Checkerboard Kids show. That would be cool.
I'm sure she does. Why wouldn't, if that was her favorite show? Why wouldn't you forget about what you liked?
She's done a lot of living. She's been places and done things, and her story is very interesting. She's worked on some really amazing films. She had this one indie film that she's been working on that's been very close to her heart that she was doing and getting going on there. I think did a fundraiser for to get the film finished. And,
like a Kickstarter?
Yeah, Kickstarter kind of thing going on there. And I hope she got that thing going on because I would really love to see it. What I've seen of it is high art. High art. So I'd love to see that. So Paz de la Huerta. Do your thing, sister.
That's a good story.
Here. Oh, man, how long have we been talking? Seriously.
Just a little over an hour.
Wow. I'm sure it'll wheedle down to something, but yeah.
No, we don't even edit. I just put it straight up.
Okay, cool, man. Well,
I mean, I'll probably cut out the beginning when we're trying to figure out whose microphone's working.
Yeah. Well, I feel very happy with this and satisfied with this, and I felt tired, and I think it's time for me to make my dinner. So I think I'm going to bounce now. But thank you so much for having me on the show.
No, thanks for talking to us. We'll do it when the studio opens up. We'll come and do it.
Yeah, and then next time Suzanne comes down, we'd love to have the Questionable podcast.
That would be great. Yeah, I'd love to do that. That'd be awesome.
Cool. Thank you. Let me see. Let me make sure I went through all my things over here. Okay. Yeah, I pretty much went through everything. I'm good. Oh, you know what? I did notice one thing that I miss now at this time of quarantine is that I miss hugging people. I miss hugging. I miss high fives. And I remember being online to get food. Now they're on these gigantic bread lines and stuff like that, literally. I remember seeing the people in front of me, and I was being like, I wish I could just hug you and kiss you. I wish I could, because I just miss being around humans.
Yeah, that point. That's why I'm thinking. There's no way this is going to last too long. People can't deal with just being isolated forever.
Yeah,
you can deal with a few weeks, but
I predict Memorial Day.
Yeah, is that? Hold on. I heard the president was saying something like that. We're gonna be released from this, and we're gonna be able to do this thing, and everybody will miraculously go away, just like a miracle. It'll go away.
No, I just think when summer comes, people are gonna be like, "I'm going to the beach." They're not gonna listen to anybody anymore.
They don't give a damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm ready to get out now.
Sure.
There's
Alex. Ready.
Alex is ready.
Got your jams right on.
I got mine ready.
Okay, good. Well done. All right, well, thank you so much for sharing your time with me.
Thank you, Phil. We'll talk to you soon then.
Right on. Oh, yeah, and if you want to follow me on any of my things, I'm Checkerphil on Instagram. I'm Checkerphil on Twitter. I'm Checkerphil on YouTube, or just look up Checkerboard Kids. You'll find me. I'm not too hard to find.
All right, I'll send you the file. So.
Right on, man. I appreciate it.
Talk to you soon.
Phil.
All right, take care, Phil.
Thanks. What you could also do is you could upload it to your Gmail account, and I could just download it from there.
All right, I'll see how big the file is, and I'll text you.
Also, I do what's the other one too?
We transfer and Dropbox, and I'll see how big the file is. And we'll send you the link.
However, it's all good.
All right.
Cool, man.
No, high five.
High fives. Right on, man. Good show.
All right. Take care.
Definitely. Take care. Peace.